Hey, what's up everyone? Dave Dustin here again. This is going to be another video about my latest discovery, which is from the Avon Comics Publishing Archives. So you need to watch my last video. If you have not seen that, watch that first. It's like half an hour of me opening the package when this stuff just arrived, and I go over everything more in depth. What I'm going to do is I just want to give everyone a very close-up look at some of this artwork, because this is just extraordinary. Like, this is awesome. This stuff is so insanely awesome, so incredibly rare. Some of the stuff people like in modern times have never seen. This stuff that's just surfaced like 70 years later. Now people are going to finally have a chance to see it, because I'm going to document it on my videos here, just like all the other rare stuff. You should, like I said, watch the last video. You should watch all my videos. Subscribe to this channel. I'm going through all this extremely rare stuff I have in my collection. All these comics that are not just American, but also British, Scottish, Canadian, Australian, all this super rare stuff I collect, stuff that you can't find any information about it on the internet, anywhere online. There's no photos, no documentation. I got a lot of rare stuff that I'm making videos about. I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm going to keep also documenting new finds as I get them sent over here from all around the world. And this was a fantastic find. This is just incredible, like printer's proofs and reverse negatives. We got original artwork, especially this one here, Space, the how-to book, L.B. Cole, original artwork. That's fantastic. The text for Flying Saucers, Attack on Planet Mars, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. This stuff is just incredible. I'm just giving one a closer look at what I have here. So I've laid it all out on the floor. I'm going to get behind the camera, and I'm just going to zoom in and take a better look at some of this stuff, because this stuff's incredible. Some of this stuff, this artwork is just fantastic. So I'll get zoomed in and I'll narrate as I go along. Okay, so here's the text. Some of this is from the Eerie comics. Some of it's from White Princess of the Jungle. There's a couple from Romance comics. There's a one from Prison Break and whatnot. So there's a bit of mixture of text here. You see the one in the middle here. So we got Chamber of Death, Stranger Studio X, and Horror, Thing from the Sea. So that's off Eerie number 2. So that's the one in the middle here. So there's the text. I have Eerie number 1, 2, 3. Those are British editions. I don't have any of the Americans. There's printouts of Eerie number 6 and 7, where some of that text above came from. Like Nightmare, Blood for the Vampire. Another one, Monster of the Sea, Strange Indian Curse. That text is up there. So that's real neat. I mean, those are just photo stats. They're like Xerox copies. Not original, just copies. So here we have Out of This World. There's Out of This World down there. That's almost like 1950. I think it's Gene Fawcett cover. And we got Flying Saucers. So there's the text. Again, these are just photo stats. There's Flying Saucers, the cover where it's used. And then we have another Out of This World from one of the other plates. City of the Living Dead. It's like a reverse negative A.C. Hollingsworth cover. There's the published version of City of the Living Dead. And there is the printer's proof. That was a 1952 A.C. Hollingsworth. So that's real neat. Then we come over to here. Rocket to the Moon. That's awesome. So that's, you see the text isn't in the text box yet. It's a printer's proof. That's a 1951 Joe Orlando cover. So there's Rocket to the Moon. That's how it was published. Then, well, here we have Eerie. So that is from Eerie number 9, 1952. You can see from the ghoul at the top there. It's Eerie number 9. Then we move up to this. This is really awesome. This is unknown to exist, unpublished Joe Kubert artwork. As far as I can tell, it was never published. You see it's signed Joe Kubert right there. This is just a printer's proof. It's just a copy. You can see a fantastic image. It's like, this has to be cover material. This is so well done. And since I made my last video, I was laying this out, and I know exactly what this is. I'll tell you all right now what this is. Because once I got it, I couldn't tell before, but if you look right here, Lunar Station number 3. And you can see bad guys here have letter X on them that are coming out of spaceships. There's the Earth in the background. And there's the moon. The station. What this is, this would be Joe Kubert's cover meant for Out of This World. How awesome is that? So this is an alternate cover. This is what was supposed to be on the cover of Out of This World. If you look at Out of This World, the first story is a 10-page story called Lunar Station. So now that I can see this up close, and you can see here, Lunar Station number 3. This cover is not for any of the illustrated stories in it. This cover is actually from the spot illustration of the text story inside. I think it's a Gene Fawcett cover, and then they used the text story cover for Out of This World instead of Joe Kubert's. So if we open this up, it's the British edition, so it's black and white. First story is Lunar Station, and there's Joan and Steve. There's a bad guy, has an X on his shirt. So that even looks similar to right there. So that spaceship there and Earth in the background. And you can see this spaceship here. Very similar looking. But even beyond that, and you see it's signed Kubert, so it's a Joe Kubert story. We go a few pages into it. And right here, so they have to approach the moon outside of the spaceship so they're not detected by radar. And as you can see here, as the two figures float down to the moon's surface, and they have the Earth in the background, there's spaceship, and there's Steve and Joan floating down to the lunar station on the moon. And there you go. There's Steve and Joan floating down to the lunar station on the moon. That right there is exactly where it came from. So that panel inside was reworked, and he did a beautiful picture of it, meant for the cover, but it was not published on the cover. They went with the other story. So the other one, look further inside. There's a text story in here. There it is. So this text story has a thumbnail at the top, and that's the cover that they went with for Out of This World, for this text story. But this is Joe Kubert's cover for the Lunar Station story. So that is incredibly awesome. I'm so happy to have that. That's fantastic. It's great artwork. Joe Kubert, sci-fi cover art. Unpublished, unknown to exist. And then beside it, this is what caught my eye. I love this, because I love the horror. House of Horror. Yeah, want to look at that? So it says at the bottom, it says trim here, and there's this skull. You can see the hound. Yeah. And there are the bats and the girl. House of Horror. Now, of course, this was partially swiped Eerie Comics. So you can see Avon reused from their extremely well-known Eerie Comics, one of the very first horror comics that was full horror comic. It was the second anthology style horror comic behind Spook, and it's notoriously known around the world. It is one of the most well-known horror comics. It's a grail comic for me that I don't have. Real expensive usually, but one day I might have one of these. And see, they swiped the cover, so they made the staircase a couple stairs shorter, so the railing's a little bit lower
but it's still got broken railing in the same way, same spot. The railing's a bit shorter and stubbier too, it looks like. But then you also have the railing under his arm, the same moon. There's no knife, and he's got a dog instead. They have some bats going in. The girl's not tied up on the ground. She's standing, and there's a skull. Just fantastic art, though. And of course, like I said in my video, my last one, when I was going through them, you can see the text they use, House of Horror. It's a match for this book they actually did publish, Diary of Horror. It's a 10-cent comic. So that was from December 1952, Diary of Horror. They use the same text. Then this is what I believe happened is they were making a book such as Secret Diary of Eerie Adventures, giant 100-page book, 25 cents. So what Secret Diary of Eerie was 3 remaindered books that were bound together, and then they put them back out for sale. So like when they were put out the first time for sale, they didn't sell. They were remaindered. Covers were stripped off. They were returned, publisher. So then they bound. For this, it was 1953. They bound Eerie number 6, Witchcraft number 1, and Boy Detective number 4 to make this out of 3 remaindered comics. So I'm guessing they would have been doing the same with House of Horror. It was meant to be 3 remaindered comics that they were going to put together, but it just went unpublished. It's completely unknown to exist. No one's ever seen this before. House of Horror, like that is fantastic. To be able to have this cover, like, who knows where the original art could possibly be for this, but... And then this also, unpublished Joe Kubert cover, that's fantastic. Wicked awesome. These printer proofs, I love these. And then I love these too. These, I wasn't even expecting it to be, but are all original art. Like, especially everything on the left, it just looked like that those, all this lettering and the face, it looked like those were just printer's proofs as well. The space cover, I wasn't sure about because you look at the lettering, you can see the complete how-to book of, you can tell it's like pasted on, different color. And then down the side, you can see the glue is a different color. So I was kind of thinking that maybe it had some original stuff spliced together. I wasn't really sure what was going on. But to find out it was actual original art by L.B. Cole, that is amazing. That's fantastic. So Sheena. So this was Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. This one's actually from the IW reprint from 1958, I believe. Because Sheena originally was just a 2-dimensional lettering that said Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. So with that backdrop where it looks 3D, that's on this one reprint done by IW Super called Sheena, Queen of the Jungle number 9. I think it was the only one they made. And it was a reprinting of a White Princess of the Jungle cover. They just changed the title on it. Because they'd mix and match titles and cover art and the contents. So you can see, if you look closely, oh, there's some blue lettering. Let's say TT5, some red. You can see that there is touch-ups. There is whiteout around a whole bunch of spots. You can tell it's original art. There's all kinds of touch-ups. So all these letters have like whiteout here and there. All original. Look on the back, you can see where it was glued down, the original art. Then next we have Attack on Planet Mars, the original lettering. This is wicked awesome too. So here is the book it was off of, a picture of the cover, Attack on Planet Mars. You see there's a couple searchlights going up through lettering, and there's a starburst there above the T in planet. Look here. Here's the planet Mars. You see the searchlights. Here around the M, you can even see there's a starburst under the M, and you can see stars twinkling under the T and around the M. I wonder if those were, if you could still see those on the actual cover, because on this printout you can't see any of that. I wonder, I have to get an actual copy of this book and all the others to mount together. We look on the back of the lettering, you can see the ink has gone around on the sides. You can tell it's all original artwork. That's cool. You can see all kinds of corrections done. You can see pencil lines throughout the whole thing that were erased. That's awesome. Attack on Planet Mars. Attack on Planet Mars, that was 1951. The Gene Fawcett cover. Here's a skull. So this is pretty cool. This is by Everett Raymond Kinsler, 1952. This is from Escape from Devil's Island. So as you can see, there is the face and skull right there. That's really cool. I like that skull. The more you look at it, the cooler it looks too. You can see it's got glue all over the back. And when you look up close, you can see also there's a blue vertical line right down the middle. You see that there's some blue lines going down the left side. You can see brush strokes when you look up close on angles. Like it's fantastic art. Really, really cool. Everett Raymond Kinsler. Flying saucers. So this is really awesome, and you can tell this here is original. The LYING is a paste over. You can see from letter L over, and even the paste over has corrections. You can see white out on this paste over. Little corrections here and there. You can see some notes. Double size, it looks like. You can see a spot where there's an indent from a paper clip. Can't really read what the rest says. I think it looks like it says red. Flying saucer. So that's the one I also have. I'll take this with me. So I have the printer's proof of. There's the cover. There you go. There's the original lettering used to make the cover. And the printer's proof. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. Look on the back, you see there's like a little doodle, a circle on the back. There's the imprint from the paperclip again. Flying saucers. And then this is awesome. Oh, this is so awesome. I love it so much. I look at this, the more and more I look at this, the more awesome this gets. This is just fantastic. You see, I have the word space up here. There's a printer's proof. What I think this is I think this space belonged to this artwork. You can tell that when you remove this here, the word space here is glued down, but it looks like those two lines at the left side, and there's a line in the middle, and there's lines up there. It looks like they line up. Like they could. It doesn't quite line up, but I mean, it looks like that these ones are painted on, and then there's a paste over, and then there's this that was taped on but removed. I'm thinking that maybe it has space already underneath here, and they didn't like it, so they made this up. I know they wanted to put over it. Here's a proof of it. They didn't like that either. You can see it has a point on the C, which I can't find on the cover of any comic. I think it must be from this one. It's just they didn't like having a point on the C. They made it all bubble letters. And they made it bigger. So I think that this belongs with this. But anyway, the complete how-to book of space. Rockets, interplanetary travel, spaceships, jets, guided missiles, and this beautiful L.B. Cole cover art. Oh, you can see beside it here now. That's how it was published. It's missing all the lettering down the left side. Those were paste overs that have fallen off. You can still see the glue. There's over 200 illustrations, and it's got like a table of contents. So that fell off, unfortunately. But the rest of it's all here. See, a how-to book. So that is, you can see from the shininess, that is a printer's proof copy. It's a Xerox. That's glued down. The price, 50 cents. Number 7 ANC is painted on. You can tell that's white paint, and it's got ink all around it. There's L.B. Cole. There's his signature right there. Nice. He's got a note here, 6 3/4. You can see some white out. 1+1 same size. I think it says 1+1 same size. So here's something different is a lot of art, or almost all of it, I think back then, used to be made up like double the size or whatnot, and then they would draw it and they would put the lettering on. That's why all this lettering is so big down here. It's done up twice the size, and they shrink it down to like half the size, and then they publish it. So you'd lose a lot of detail in a lot of the artwork. Whereas this one is the original artwork, and it is the size of the comic. So it's 1:1. So they're matting it as the same size. It is done to scale. So that's really cool. That's L.B. Cole. Take a look at that. That is fantastic artwork. I just love L.B. Cole artwork. He's done some great stuff. You can see up here by the top. You can see this is all original. Here, the word space, you can see that the white tails and the black around them is painted on, and it's got black ink all around to make the letters. Like, this must have taken them a long time just even make that. You see there's even corrections done on lettering. It's shifted there. See all the glue where the couple came off. And then you look here, you can see even the corrections done at the nose of the spaceship into the stars. You see the white out. The lines redrawn when you zoom right in. That is awesome. L.B. Cole sci-fi art. What I have by him is I have, of course, Ghostly Weird. It's my favorite of the British horror comics. My favorite cover. L.B. Cole. See his signature down at the bottom there. That's a fantastic cover. That's just awesome. And to have original L.B. Cole cover art, that's just spectacular. I love it. There you go. There's my rack with a bunch of American horror and sci-fi comics, some of my favorites. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my video. Till next time. Cheers.